Older couples often talk of the differences that exist between love in this present time and love in the past. Unlike present time, where most couples complain of infidelity, in the past, commitment was not just a word or a concept, but a common value in marriage. This is what Bishop John Brown Masinde and his wife Persia Muthoni Masindes believe. Having been married for 38 years, one might think that being pastors would make them immune to the test of marriage, but it was not so. They share with us about their marriage life and the wisdom they have accumulated over the years.
My name's J.B. Masinde, or John B. Masinde, Bishop Masinde, married to Persia Muthoni Masinde, and I'm the senior pastor of Deliverance Church Umoja, where we've been for the last 30 years, but we've been in ministry for the last 40 years, from 1974, and God has blessed us. We have got 5 children, and 5 grandchildren.
Nairobi in the 1970s was characterized by rural to urban migration, with young people searching for employment, driven away by the poor living standards in the rural areas. Having been born and raised in Embu, Persia too had this quest, which made her travel 130 kilometers away from home to Nairobi in search of a better life. She was also a born-again Christian and was desperately looking for a place to fellowship until one day she heard beautiful melodies of young people singing to God. Little did she know what fate had in store.
I just followed the songs, and I found them at Uhuru Park. Central Park. They were having an open-air meeting there,
Service,
and he was leading the songs, the worship.
She had my voice.
And the pastor preached, and he said he was Joe Kayo. You've heard of Joe Kayo? He was his pastor. So he said, if you want to find where we are as a church, come to Kariako Social Hall. So the next Sunday I looked for Kariako Social Hall, and I found them, and I've never left. I got a husband there. I served there in the choir.
And our children there.
We became pastors, and here we are.
She was God-fearing. She loved God. And she was already serving God. That was a very, very important also to me. The tribe was not the issue so much. Though her parents struggled with my tribe a bit. But I thank God, my parents having lived in Nairobi also themselves for many years. My parents were also multilingual. They spoke Kikuyu, they spoke Kiluya, they spoke Kiswahili, and my mother understands Luo. So they had no problem with marrying from across tribes. I mean, they were at peace with it. And therefore, all those factors came in, that our parents supported us. Even when our parents got through over the original fears and noticed, hey, we are not giving up after 1 year. They supported us, and to me that was a very important factor. Beside the fact that she was beautiful, she was God-fearing, God-loving, ready to serve God, beautiful. Man, just being in the same church is good. Now singing the same choir became even better, because now we were in close proximity, about 2-3 days in a week, as we met for choir practice, as we sang, as we went for missions together, and so we were watching one another's characters, and she was not bad looking, neither was I. What you're seeing here right now, don't be fooled. 40 years ago, we didn't look like this. This is the effect of wear and tear and gravity. But 40 years ago, we were bad.
Church activities and their faith in God drew this deeply spiritual couple together, and they soon found themselves in love, planning to one day be man and wife. Unlike this present time, where going on one knee was characterized with so much pomp, Persia and Bishop Masinde's proposal wasn't.
No, we talked. Because, you see, those days there was not much hulabaloo going on your knee. I mean, we didn't have money for rings or nothing. We just sat and talked and said, you know something, I've been praying and I love you and I would love to marry you. Pray about it and see if you're at peace with it, and let me know and see where we can take this relationship. That's how we propose as Christians. You don't go around and say, you know what, I want your neighbor. No. Would you marry me? Of course, I'm do that. But to us, it was like, I've prayed, and Dad prayed. Yeah, because the pastor said, where are you going? You need a wife, because there's a call of God upon your life, and you need to have a wife who can stand with you through this call. And because that was important. Someone will understand where I'm going with God and where God is taking me. And I thank God. I don't regret.
All along, I was saying, God, if you give me a man who loves you more than he loves me, I'll be safe. And so when he proposed to me, I was of age. I was ready for marriage. I was a working lady. And I didn't need to waste any more time.
We didn't begin life born again. We got born again in our late teens.
Yeah.
Before we got born again.
When the life was at its peak.
We lived like any other teenager.
And we looked as though we were...
We lived like any other teenager.
We look.
She told before she got saved she had a boyfriend. I had a girlriend.
Yeah.
I was giving my life to Christ.
The day
my
he got saved, he walked away from her.
Was in the same service. So we are not saying, oh, we are angels, we are born like this, we just fell from heaven. No.
Persia and Bishop Masinde's relationship was challenged by the fact that they came from different tribes. Bishop J.B. Masinde was raised in the city, and his family was more accommodative to people of different tribes. On the other hand, Persia was brought up in the village where most people, including her family, apparently had a negative perspective on their daughter getting married to a man from the western part of the country.
I've seen Nairobi change, personally I've seen Nairobi change because when I started going to school, the government vehicles were written OHMS, on Her Majesty's service, when I started going to school. But I saw the freedom campaigns in proper Kamkunji grounds. Leave alone these ones that are nicknamed Kamkunji today. The proper Kamkunji grounds.
The way we were brought up, I don't know about these days, but girls never proposed to men. Even if you felt you had love for someone, you kept it until the person came. If he didn't come,
confirm what you're
move to the next level. So I never showed that there was something in me about him.
For this man.
But there was love. God put some love in my heart for him. So when he came, it was a confirmation of how I was feeling in my heart.
Anybody who came from beyond Nakuru, you see, when you're not traveled, anybody who comes from beyond Nakuru is considered from a particular tribe. You're talking about people who live in the rural areas all these years. Isn't there a boy around here? You must go beyond Nakuru. Must you go all that? That's what the argument. And that's what I'm saying. With me, my advantage is that my parents lived in town. So they had interacted with people from all tribes, Kikuyu, Kalenjin, Luo, Kamba, Taita, Tanzanians, and so. So my parents have had no problem in any of our children. I've got brothers who are married from Zimbabwe and all over. So they have no issue. Imagine, we are talking about the late 60s, early 70s. You've lived in rural Kenya all your life, and your daughter is telling you, I found a young man. Where is he from? From Kakamega. Where is that? What? There were all those stereotypes. And those stereotypes, those are things that have made our country, given our country a bad name. But with this generation, that's what I'm saying. After 6-7 months of praying, the parents came around and realized, you know what? There's nothing wrong with people coming from any part of this country. Our daughter loves this man loves our daughter. And let's go on. Our own children, one is married in Busia, another one is married in Meru, another one is married in Ukambani. Our son is marrying a girl from Kiambu. Look at how we have turned out.
And we have a daughter dating.
And we have a daughter dating an African American in the US. So that's how the world has turned. So God just was preparing us for what our own life would be.
Bishop Masinde and Persia tied the knot at only 23 years of age, something that would have been deemed as young in this present time. These two lovebirds worked hand in hand to raise cash for their afternoon nuptial in the days where stockings was the latest fashion trend and the dollar was just 7 Kenyan shillings.
Now looking back, I don't think it cost us more than 20K.
Actually, people also came to help us. Like our uncle, his uncle,
Yes.
took care of the tea, the milk and the tea and everything. My
Family
sister made some
helped.
mukimo. I mean, people helped us.
family
We didn't have
helped
a budget. Our wedding
Friend-
was in the afternoon.
In the
People
afternoon.
came when they had lunch.
We put our wedding at
Just
2
give them
o'clock.
tea.
So we realized
We knew you
by
can't
2
wait.
o'clock you'll have eaten lunch.
So we didn't have a budget.
So from
By that
2
time you can't
to
stay.
3:30 the wedding was over. Then we went
You
for a
cannot stay
4 o'clock
hungry
tea,
waiting.
and by 6 we were
Yeah.
out of the hall. Who will stay hungry because he's waiting to come for your wedding? They'll eat before they come.
Yeah,
So by the time they are coming at 2, they have already had lunch.
yeah.
And a wedding, as it is, how long does a wedding take? You know, these
It
days...
lasts an hour or two.
Yeah, these days wedding takes
And you
long
spend
because
a million.
young people want to drive and go for a photo session. Now with us, we were at the Kenya Polytechnic Hall.
So we took the pictures
We did
out
our wedding.
there.
We went on the grounds, took pictures, came back.
There was
ate.
one flower.
By 6, we walked out of the place. We had already done a wedding.
And we were married.
We had done a reception. I had my wife. She had a husband. And life.
And someone
and life
prepared
still goes
a
on.
dinner for
Dinner
us.
for us in the evening. Went to
With
her
the
sister's
bridesmaids,
place.
yeah.
The bride, and they had an evening meal.
So there is no budget there. It was not sleeveless.
If I'm
She
going to
had
marry
long,
again, she'll
she had
wear
long
silver
sleeves
dress.
up to here. It was up to here. I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
All
We'll show you the
lace.
photographs.
Then they did some adjustments because I was size 10 there. I was very small.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
And
don't
then
be
to
fooled
do
by the way
some
you look now.
and to do some adjustments. And there I knew I had a wedding dress. I knew I had a shoe. I remember I didn't even have stockings. I bought them on the wedding day.
Wedding day.
Gloves. I wore some gloves. I also went to River Road and bought a necklace and some earrings. Beautiful. They are still there.
Oh, River Road had
Yeah.
great shops those days.
So we used
And there
to
were
save.
there were no pickpockets.
We would save and buy. We saved for a ring. I mean,
Save
we
for
did the
ring.
things together
Yeah, save for rings.
because we didn't have a lot of money between us.
I wore a
Didn't
black
know what I should-
trouser, and a white shirt,
And a white-
and a bow tie, and I
and a
had
white
someone
jacket.
make a white jacket for me, like a white tuxedo.
But it was
I
mad.
looked sharp.
We didn't have a big budget of
Yeah.
millions and what. But we didn't have money for honeymoon.
But before the wedding, we didn't have money. That's
He
another
didn't tell
faith
you had
story.
only 65 cents in his pocket.
That morning. By the time we're walking out, there's a friend of ours, an elderly gentleman called Paul Bruton.
used to work with Joe Carr.
He couldn't come
friend.
because he just felt sick that morning. But he had checked through the newspapers, and the best hotel then in Mombasa was Nyali Beach Hotel. They were giving a special offer for Kenyan residents. And he just calculated 7 days, put all that money in an envelope, sent one of his workers, says, just go to JB's wedding. When they are coming out, tell them they must go to Nyali Hotel. This is 7 days,
Nyali
full
Beach.
board, Nyali Beach Hotel, full board. I paid, the money is all there.
And
Let him
then-
just look for fare to Mombasa and back. Do you know how much cost bus was costing those days? 25 shillings to
So
Mombasa.
the envelopes people gave us with some little money, we got the fare.
Got the fare from there.
And we went to
And
Mombasa.
someone paid for our honeymoon and we went to Nyali Beach for 7
Yeah.
days.
We wrote a letter to God
It was a venture.
and we told him, Lord, we need
Money,
ABC.
ABC.
And we left that note on the table.
For 2 days. It was a walk of faith.
So when we see people calling us for
fundraising,
fundraising for a wedding
because they started
and a
commercialized.
big budget,
You know, in our days, weddings were not commercialized.
yeah,
No, and if you decide you're doing a wedding, it was really your affair.
yeah,
And people normally assume that, you know what, my friends owe me a wedding. They don't owe you a
they
wedding.
don't.
They don't owe you a
It's a
wedding.
personal
Yeah, it's
affair.
really a personal
If
thing. They may want to help you, or they may not
yeah.
want to help you.
But
So,
dragging them,
yeah, we were prepared to do our wedding on what we could afford,
yeah,
not what we felt so and so can
Will
give us, or
impress
Catherine will
other
give us
people.
this money, Andreas will give us. So we could say we have got 50 friends, each one of them has give us 10,000. So we start budgeting on that. We didn't do that, and that's some of the mistake some people planning to get married to. And they don't realize, train people shouldn't.
there are those who can afford it.
I mean, if you can afford it, we've no problem. We will come and eat. But if you can't afford it, and I've done several here where there was no reception. In fact, someone just brought a cake. Said, "Oh, I've got a cake to share with all of you." Said, "Sure." We cut it in the service, and they're still happily married.
And we,
I meet them today. They tell me, "Bish, we still married." I say, "I know." The gum I put is still holding. So it's not the issue of how big and glamorous the wedding is.
If you can't
what
afford,
can you afford?
do
what
it
you can.
your way.
I tell them, but don't get into debt because of our wedding. A wedding lasts for 2 hours max.
marriage
Even
for
at
a
the
lifetime.
longest winded preacher, 2 hours you are done. But if it's me, 1 hour I walk in, 1 hour you're walking out. You're married. Why do you want to spend 1 million for a function that will last 1 hour? I normally tell people a wedding is a function with no financial returns. You put in $500,000, you're not getting it back. It's gone down the drain. Yeah, of course, people will say, hey, why do you keep on in there? It was a big wedding. But at the end of the day, you are in debt. We didn't start life in debt. No.
Friends with cars.
Our friends had cars.
Yeah, our friends had cars.
Our relatives, some friends had cars.
So my sister drove us. We went for dinner to her house.